It's time for your forecast for Saturday, May 3rd. Looking across the country, the big story in the west is the heat. Some summer-like temperatures continue. Meanwhile, in eastern parts of the country, we're kind of locked into a pattern that's bringing cloud cover, rainy conditions, and temperatures that are leaving a little bit to be desired, especially compared to what we've seen in the west in recent days. On Friday, Kamloops got just above 30 degrees Celsius. That was Canada's first 30-degree temperature of the year. Are more in store? Well, looking to the prairies, we can see for today and into tomorrow, we do have a couple of 30-degree days in the forecast. And for today, it's Lethbridge that's given us one of those high chances of hitting that 30-degree mark. So let's turn our attention to what's really delivering these warm temperatures. As you can see, that ridge will gradually shift further east. So we're getting a blast of some summer-like heat, but that might be replaced by some much more seasonal and cooler temperatures shortly. But for this afternoon, take a look. Not only the warmth, but the sunshine widespread across the prairies. A pretty enjoyable weekend appears to be on tap. But as I mentioned, that ridge will continue to slide. Look at Regina, 29 degrees for the day tomorrow. By Monday, we're down to 11 with rainy conditions. Now, Winnipeg might hang on to that warmth for one more extra day. Monday's looking good, sunny with a high of 28. Back down into the 15-degree range in the forecast for Tuesday. So warmth, but not necessarily going to last. Another story in the west is kind of the active weather that's peppered across the region. So for the prairies, we'll start here. We do have some of that moisture in Alberta for the day today. Early tomorrow, some of that rainfall in areas like Fort McMurray into parts of northwest Saskatchewan. Later tomorrow on our Sunday evening, overnight into Monday, you can see some of that rainfall into parts of southern Saskatchewan and southern Manitoba. Okay, for British Columbia, we've got some moisture into the interior today and some snowfall at higher elevations, but beyond that, not a whole lot else in terms of rainfall. So there's a look at today, and after the sizzling 30-degree temperatures we saw yesterday for parts of British Columbia's interior, we've already seen quite a cool down compared to that. 13 degrees the high for Vancouver today. Sunday in Vancouver, we're looking at 14 degrees with dry conditions pretty well widespread. And here's that 7-day forecast. We've got lots of sunshine, not much in the way of rain for Vancouver. That is especially the case heading towards the interior. Temperatures rebound, getting back into some heat. Things remain very dry. Okay, off to the east. Things are not remaining very dry. In fact, it's going to be a pretty consistent pattern of wet weather thanks to this kind of atmospheric pattern that's really blocking in this type of action. So for our Saturday, we can see some of that shower activity earlier in the day for areas like Niagara. Into our Sunday, yet another round of wet weather appears to be in store. Not exactly a great golf weekend, we can put it that way. Looking all the way through Tuesday, this is kind of our rough estimate of how much rainfall could be on the way with this pattern bringing these waves of moisture. And it looks like some windy conditions will be in the mix as well, especially Sunday in southwest Ontario. Now here's our conditions for our Saturday afternoon. Again, southern areas are trending much on the cooler side, and our Sunday is going to be bringing a similar situation. We're still kind of waiting for some gorgeous spring weather. Now for parts of southern Quebec, we might get clipped with some showers for the day today, and we'll be potentially seeing some more moisture looking ahead. But this afternoon, things are certainly on the cooler side with that wet pattern, and Montreal showing just how many days ahead look to be cloudy and wet. Now we turn our attention, finishing off in Atlantic Canada, we see some scattered showers. This evening we could see some widespread shower activity for parts of southern New Brunswick into areas like PEI. That may continue into our Sunday morning with some pretty widespread rainfall activity. Here's a look at the forecast conditions for our Saturday afternoon across the Atlantic region. Fredericton looking at some showers. Meanwhile for St. John's, cloudy with a high of 10 degrees.